The effect 9/11 played on the color palette of video games.
It went from blue to brown.
Look what they did to Jack.
He has a gun now. We're here. We're clear-headed.
Yeah, sure. We're clear-headed amidst the haze of quarantine, of prolonged quarantine. or at least I am. I don't know. Judging from what Chase was saying before we started this, he might not. Now he's giving me crazy eyes.
I'm feeling great.
He's got crazy eyes, everybody.
I'm feeling great. I'm ready to work. I'm ready to make a pod. Nothing's gonna keep me down.
Chase actually has twigs and stuff like sticking out of his hair right now as well.
I'm cultivating a bird's nest is what I would like to call it.
You're becoming one with nature.
Yeah.
It's beautiful what all this less pollution has done.
Yeah.
Nature's returning to its natural habitat.
The parrots have returned to my head. So I've read online that podcast listening is a little down across all podcasts right now. And my understanding is that it's because people are commuting a little less.
Yeah,
like they're not driving or not riding the bus, so there's not as much time to pod.
Sure.
So I thought
makes sense.
Maybe we could just kind of everybody close our eyes and try and imagine that we're commuting somewhere, and just create a very chill commute space. Well, let's see. Okay, I'm gonna try. Okay. I'm riding the bus. I'm going to work. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a smell.
There's a smell. What's the smell?
Bus. It's bus smell.
I know what you're talking about.
Kind of urine-y, a little metallic.
Industrial human stench.
Yeah. Okay, all right. What's that person doing over there?
Hopefully not masturbating.
I hope so too. That's what I think every day I get on this bus and listen to my podcast. I hope no one masturbates here today.
I hope no one masturbates within eye or ear shot from me today.
That would be absolutely ideal. My day would be made. It would be super cool. And I myself, on the bus, closed eyes, maybe playing Switch with my eyes closed, because I'm a pro gamer.
Yeah, you have such great hand-eye coordination at this point that even a jostle from the bus doesn't faze you.
No, it's not even hand-eye. I'm not using my eyes. I'm using my sixth sense.
Are you using the Force to play the Switch?
I'm using the Force to throw Mario's hat.
That's damn impressive.
You know what it'd be. You know what it'd dookie.
So you're playing on the bus
eyes
with
closed,
detached Joy-Con controllers.
Yes.
Damn, bro, that's brave as fuck.
Yeah. I like to think of myself as a brave person.
Omega Gamer.
I am Omega Gamer. And I'm also listening to a podcast called Video Game Podtimism, where two best friends talk about the wonderful world of gaming. I'm Chase, and the wheels in the bus go round and round.
I'm David, and whenever I think about commuting, I think about the urban hell that is Los Angeles, and it puts me in a foul mood. So I'm sorry that I couldn't get to a chill commute with you, Chase, but that's just what I go to when I think about commuting, because man, podcasts, they made things more bearable, but it was still horrendous every time.
That's nice. That's a good feeling, a good thought.
Are you sure?
Yeah, that's really nice to think about, how horrible commuting is.
Podcasts made it tolerable, I guess is what I was going for, which is impressive, honestly.
That's fair.
Impressive thing to do.
We can add that to our byline on Twitter. We make it tolerable.
We make it just whatever it is.
We make it that, just kind of tolerable enough.
We make that tolerable. You're welcome, everybody.
We talk about video games here, and I would love to hear what video games you've been playing, because you told me that you got some interesting ones.
I do.
Tell me about them. What have you been playing?
Well, I'm going to start off with the boring one, which is I've still been playing Mario Odyssey. I've been playing the secret levels, the dark side of the moon, and then the darker side of the moon.
Yep.
Haven't beaten the darker side of the moon yet. I played it a little bit, and I'm just like, this is fucking ridiculous.
Is that the one where you have to like pro strat, like just go through the whole thing without dying or whatever, or else you go back to the beginning?
Pretty much, yeah. And like all the people are there on the moon, like cheering you on beforehand. They're like, "This is the toughest thing you'll ever do." And I was just like, "Yeah, whatever." And then just I got offed like real quick, like 5 times in a row, and I'm just like, "It's enough for today.
That's enough, Mario.
I'll come back to this.
I don't think I can throw my hat anymore."
Yeah. And so I was saying last week that I beat a lot of games recently, so I'm kind of in that. I was kind of in that in between, like, trying to find my next thing phase, right?
Your fresh game piece.
My fresh game piece. I found a couple.
Okay. You landed on something.
I landed on 3 things.
Okay. Wow.
They're all similar in a way.
Okay.
And I'll let you see. So the first one,
don't tell me the theme. I'll figure it out at the end.
Yeah, okay. So the first one is XCOM 2.
Okay. What system are you playing this on?
PlayStation 4. It was a free PlayStation Plus game a while ago.
Okay.
And I had like purchased it and then just never downloaded it. And so I was just looking through all those games to see if there was anything worth it.
Okay.
In there. So I downloaded a bunch, and XCOM 2 was the one that kind of like resonated with me at the time.
XCOM being like the tactical turn-based kind of
tactical turn-based like sci-fi shooter.
Yep.
Pretty fun. I really enjoy it.
It's a pretty good game. I like it.
It's really interesting. I'm interested to see how long that's going to keep my interest, because my experience with those games is that they suck me in pretty hard.
Yeah.
And then eventually, for one reason or another, I just kind of lose interest.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I like the user interface. I like the style, the graphics.
Yeah.
The voice acting is pretty good. The graphics are pretty good. I like how you can zoom in and things look pretty detailed, realistic. And the combat feels fair and engaging.
Yeah.
So I've been playing that. That was good. And before I move on to the other ones that kind of hooked me, I'm just going to say a couple things about the games that didn't hook me.
Okay. The left behinds.
I downloaded a bunch of games from like my PS Plus backlog. Arkham Knight, out. Not interested.
Done.
Not interested. Just felt really repetitive. Just felt like bloated game. Just everything that I don't care for in open world games. It had a lot of that.
Okay.
So I was just like, done. I played probably 10 minutes of Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry.
Wait, what? Freedom Cry?
Freedom Cry.
Freedom Cry. Hold on. Freedom Cry.
Don't ask me what the story is. I don't know because I played 10 minutes of it.
I didn't even know this was a video game.
It's a video.
Oh, it's DLC for Black Flag. Okay.
Yeah, I played it for... It's DLC for Black Flag, but I don't have Black Flag, and I was able to play it. Weird. Or maybe it's like a weird, like, secondary add-on baby game to it. Something.
Yeah, like you don't need the other one? Okay,
yeah.
All right.
They just threw you in. Like, you're just all of a sudden driving a ship and fighting people in a naval battle, and just everything felt so hollow and weak. Like, no good, like, lurching sound effects of the boat, no like big crashes from waves or like getting hit by cannons or anything like that. Just felt really boring. And then I boarded the boat, and there was the same Assassin's Creed combat that's been around for a decade now. I was just like, I'm done. I'm out.
That was like kind of right before they changed it up with Origins, like the combat.
Yeah.
And yeah, I know that combat system was feeling pretty tired by that point.
Real tired. So that brings me to the next one that I've been playing more.
Okay.
Which is The Witcher 3.
The Witcher 3. Wow. Yeah. You've got quite a journey ahead of you there. Have you played this before?
No. I downloaded, or I bought like the definitive edition, like way long ago. It has like all the DLC and everything. And I would play it for like an hour or two, and then just like get overwhelmed.
Yep, I've had that happen to me.
And just not be able to get back into it.
Yep.
But for some reason this time it's just like, I'm just going to go in, I'm just going to go.
Yep.
And I just like let all my preconceived notions about what I should be doing away, and I just let the game take me.
Yep.
And it's much more enjoyable that way.
I had a similar experience to that. I've started The Witcher 3 probably like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
I've gotten through like Velen or whatever that is. Every time I get up to beat through the Griffin, and then eventually stopped shortly thereafter.
Yeah.
The most recent time I started, though, I did what you did, where I'm like, I'm not going to try and like min-max whatever quests I'm doing. I'm not going to like do this. If I just want to play the main story, that's what I'm going to do. And yeah,
exactly,
it's much more enjoyable that way.
Much more enjoyable that way. And then you just don't feel like, oh my God, this message board, and there's message boards in every town. It's just like there's like 5 or 6 different fucking things on here, and each one takes like a couple hours to do. It's like,
yeah.
Oh my God. Overload.
It's overwhelming,
like,
yeah.
I just like kick that all to the curb and just like, I'm just going to focus on one quest at a time and just do it. If something happens in between on like a journey to there, I'll deal with that and then just keep going.
Yeah.
Much more enjoyable that way. And
for sure.
There's some fucked up stuff, pretty cool stuff that happens in that game.
No, yeah, I was definitely late to the party. Like I was kind of anti-Witcher because the combat isn't phenomenal. Like I think we had talked about this a little bit on the show, that the combat feels kind of like Fable, real floaty and like not very fast. And I think I wanted it to be better. I wanted that to be the main part of the game, but it's really not. It's everything else around it that's like the more interesting parts, like the side quests and all the writing is like pretty interesting. And
the acting, the story, like all that voice acting is really good.
Yeah,
that's impressive. It's impressively good. And yeah, the combat's still just kind of whatever, but it's kind of the things that you can modify of your character that make it interesting. Right? Yeah. All the different skill points you can do, all the different oils you can craft, or bombs, or whatever, potions, anything like that.
Yeah.
So that makes it pretty entertaining. And I guess the combat just started clicking with me a little bit more too. Just like using it, seeing it more as like I have to dodge and then wait for openings, more like a Soulsborne type of game, as opposed to like Skyrim, where it's just like, I'm gonna go up and hit you with my hammer
until you're dead,
and just tank everything you throw at me, which you can't really do in that game effectively.
Yeah, you played Sekiro, now it's opening up this entire other genre for you.
No, totally. I'm just dancing around them, going for a couple quick slices, then I'm out. It's pretty good.
It's true.
So that's been enjoyable, and I've really just some cool stuff. Did you ever get to the part with the botchling?
Yeah, fucked up. It's crazy, man.
Fucked up, dude. This was my face the whole time.
Yep. For those who can't see, David was eyebrows raised, mouth agape, eyes wide open.
In horror.
It's pretty brutal.
Horror.
Yeah.
Yeah. It comes at you brutally fast.
Yeah.
So there's that. And saving, in my opinion, the best for last.
Better than The Witcher 3.
Right now, at least.
Okay.
Divinity Original Sin 2.
Damn, you're in deep, bro. You're in deep.
Yeah, which I have been playing with my lady love, Mallory Rose.
Is she enjoying this?
We played 2 days over the weekend, and we're already 20 hours in.
Holy shit.
So I think yes.
Deep.
Yeah. We've gone hard on it.
I myself kind of had trouble getting into Divinity. I think for kind of a similar reason to The Witcher, that I was like, I kind of wanted to know what I needed to do a little bit more clearly, and it's not like that.
Sure.
And so like viewing it more as D&D and less of a video game is really helpful.
That's what I was going to say. Like, don't view it as much as a video game as it is like a automated virtual Dungeons and Dragons game, right? Complete with cheesy narrator. The combat is just so D&D. Like, anyone who's ever played D&D and you're like missing out on that feeling because you don't have a group, fucking get this game. Yeah. It is just everything you want. It's just so deep, and the combat's satisfying and just tactical enough to be engaging, but not overwhelming or difficult or opaque or anything like that. Yeah. And just, it's so dense.
Yeah, there's a lot in there.
So dense. Like, every character is named, every NPC you can interact with, all of them have like unique dialogue that they say or unique backgrounds that they talk about. Yeah. Man, it's a good game. It's a good game.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who like really, really like that game.
Yeah. So, although I don't know if I would enjoy it as much if I didn't have someone to play it with.
That's kind of what I'm wondering, because I've tried it a couple times and I've fallen off each time. I never even get off that like island that you shipwreck on.
There's a lot to do on that island.
Yeah, I mean, I get fairly far. Like, I think I play like 10 hours of it and like eventually escape and get into like the like kind of castle-y area.
We haven't gone there yet. We're still on the island. We're 20 hours in. We're still on the island. We're doing everything.
Maybe I'm describing that wrong. You fight like lava monsters Have you fought those guys?
I don't think so. We fought in like giant salamanders.
Those guys, yeah.
Yeah. I fought the giant salamanders, and I freed a dragon, and now we're going to go to the boat. There's a boat, and we just got the special wand for that Gareth guy, and now we're going to get off the island, hopefully.
Yeah, I think you're farther than I am, because I don't think I've gotten there.
Okay.
Yeah, I've fallen off there, and I think because like I got to a couple combat encounters that I was just absolutely underprepared for.
Sure.
Like, just got destroyed, so like just couldn't really figure it out.
Yeah, no, it can be kind of brutal sometimes. But they added a bunch of stuff. I don't know which edition you got, but they added a bunch of like not DLC, but kind of like free updates.
Yeah.
That made it a little bit more forgiving.
Okay.
So you can activate those. But if you ever want someone to play with, baby,
yeah,
just do it online.
Yeah, true. I'll get up in there.
Get in my party, baby.
The theme is RPGs, right? You're playing dense RPGs.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is problematic because
it's hard to balance all those.
Each of these games you could easily sink a week into and just not really put a dent in it too much, you know?
Specifically, Divinity and The Witcher are both gigantic games.
Yeah, it's a problem. It's really starting to tap into my Game of Thrones obsession.
Where you're just going harder than ever.
Because I just love fantasy so much that it's really scratching an itch that I haven't had since that disastrous end to Game of Thrones. So sad.
Yeah. Some good games. Some quality games on your lineup there.
I only play the best.
Wow. A classist video gamer. A core gamer.
Old sport.
Is that all the games you've been playing?
Yeah, that's everything.
Cool. Can I tell you about the ones I've been playing? There's not very many.
Let's hear it.
It's the same thing since last time, mostly.
How many more sea bass have you caught?
Some. Definitely been playing Animal Crossing every day. What has happened in there? Not much. I've got a bunch of dank outfits. Oh, I unlocked the like terraforming in the game. And so now like the island is looking pretty fly. People are so inventive in that game, man. Like you can go online and download like custom designs that people do.
Yeah.
And you can use those designs like in a bunch of places. And specifically one of them is you can essentially paint the ground on the outside to look like certain things. And so a bunch of people online have just like uploaded a bunch of their custom designs for like, oh, this is what like some scattered stone would look like, or like a wooden path that I've built. And so when
you can share like textures and stuff, or
it's a very Nintendo way of doing it. You have to like put in a 12-letter character code into a part of the game that's only available from like 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. So
why is there a time restriction?
It's in a shop, quote unquote, and so you can't go in there all the time. It's wild. It's so Nintendo. But one of the things that people have uploaded are these like street tiles, so you can pave your island with these custom designs, some of which are just like asphalt, and then some of which are like lane lines like you would see on like a street. And so you can like make your whole city this like walkway. Somebody online, it's like kind of this, I think kind of not famous on Twitter, but it's viewed a lot, is this dude who did like a Shibuya style path in his town, and it just looks absolutely incredible. Like it's so cool.
Oh, the Japanese town.
Yep, that's the one.
I think I saw that one.
Yep, he's the one who developed the streets that I'm using. It's very cool.
So I don't know enough about the game to be impressed, like super impressed by that. I mean, it looked really good.
Yeah,
but like, how much time do you think that took?
Days. Like that, I think that person came up with that design, so that probably took a while, because like there's like 8 or 9 different quote unquote tiles that you would need for that, like just the blank one, and then the one with like the straight line in it, and then the one with like a curved line if you were going to take a turn on the street. And they programmed in like, or not programmed, but like designed in little imperfections in the street so it looks real rather than just like a clean straight line. Like it looks like asphalt.
Wow.
And then they bought a bunch of stuff for their town. Like in that video, they had like a telephone pole and a bunch of like vending machines and shit like that. that stuff takes a while to unlock. So like, just, yeah, I'm sure this person is playing a lot of Animal Crossing. Plus that video came out like a couple of weeks ago. It's not super recent.
Yeah, I've ever seen that on Reddit and people just freaking out about it.
It looks really cool. So yeah, doing that. Still playing WoW, leveling the character up very, very quickly.
Still playing WoW.
Yeah.
So wild.
It's fine. I'm kind of just playing it in the background at this point. It's not my main thing.
You've been playing this game longer for most of your life now, haven't you? So you're 29, and you said it came out like when you were 13 or 14, right?
Came out in 2004, I think. November 23rd, 2004. Yeah, most of it.
That's wild.
A majority of my life I have been playing WoW.
Crazy.
It's crazy. The game's still fun. I'm playing a tank right now, which is fun. It's hard. Mm-hmm. Yeah, not much. I mean, there's not much to be said about World of Warcraft. It's World of Warcraft.
Mm-hmm. It is what it is.
It is what it is. Still playing the Final Fantasy remake. That's still very good. Mm-hmm. The only new thing that I've been playing is Portal 1.
Ooh. Mm-hmm. Deep cut. I like
Deep cut. The Besties podcast on Spotify. Go listen to them too. Mm-hmm. They did a roundup, a bracket of the best years in video games.
Oh, okay. They took a page from our book, huh?
That's what I said. We released ours first, you bastards. They did a bunch of years, and the one that won out was the year that Portal came out.
Is that 08 or something?
2007.
2007? Okay.
2007.
What else came out that year?
Okay, so 2007 had Portal, which is crazy. Modern Warfare, the first one. BioShock.
Oh.
The first Assassin's Creed.
Okay, sure.
Halo 3, Mass Effect,
MS1,
Super Mario Galaxy, Team Fortress 2, Uncharted, the first one.
Oh, God.
God of War 2, Rock Band.
Oh, shit.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you go down the list and you're like, God damn. Like, those are some games you could sink, like, many, many hours
I was just about
into.
to say, like, just listening to that list of games, I'm like, how many hours of my life between all of those listed have I spent?
Yeah.
So many. Rock Band probably the most.
Yeah, Rock Band was a thing for a second there.
I loved those drums. So fun.
I think, yeah, I enjoyed the drums the most. I don't know about you, but definitely I certainly wasn't good at them, but like I think I had just played so much Guitar Hero before that the guitar was kind of old news by that point.
Yeah, guitar, whatever. Don't even fucking talk to me about bass, all right? I'm not confident enough to sing.
No.
I'll do the drums.
Yeah. They're definitely the most interesting and felt like you were kind of actually doing something.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely gave me the coordination to actually just do basic beats on a real drum kit. Because I remember I would go over to Jahan's and just like be able to do a basic drum beat and a fill. And I was just like, thanks, Rock Band. You taught me something, actually.
Yeah. That podcast, the Besties are playing through Portal right now, and they're going to talk about it on their show. And so I figured I would try and keep up with them to play it as well.
Sure.
Portal's so fucking good. It's so good.
Such an original concept.
I hadn't been back to play it until now. I played it once. I don't think when it came out. I think I played it kind of late, like 2010 or 2011 or something like that. Essentially, right before Portal 2 came out.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of late to the party on that one. But I haven't replayed it since then, and it's still so fucking good. It's so original and so inventive, and every puzzle you like. It takes you a second. It's not immediately clear, but you walk into every situation like, I have the tools to do this. I just need to figure it out.
No, yeah, it does. Just the progression of difficulty in that game.
It's pristine. It's so perfect.
With something as unique as the portal gun is really impressive from just like a game design standpoint.
Yeah,
they're able to make it feel like a gradual increase in skill and difficulty throughout the whole game without any of those spikes that we were talking about last time. Just gradual.
Yeah.
Real good.
Yeah. Oh man. It's very good. It's like, I essentially just got to the part where they're starting to have you like jump down into pits and throw a portal behind you so that you go flying forward. And it's always fun every single time. Especially the ones where like they make it obvious that, you know, you jump through the portal, you don't have enough clearance to get over the thing, they make you land in a specific spot where it's like, okay, I don't really know what to do here. I didn't clear the thing with the tools I had before. And then eventually you figure out you have to like jump down into it, fly through the thing, put another portal at the bottom of you, so you go through it again, and then you get enough momentum. It's just,
and then it's like you've reached your terminal velocity at that point, so you can finally go through. Just like, oh, it's so good.
It's very good. So I'm really enjoying that. I think the last time I played that, I beat it in like a sitting. So I'm imagining that will probably be the case here shortly.
It's not a long game, but it's
no. I feel like it's probably like 4 hours, maybe.
Yeah, all killer, no filler.
It's true. Yeah, it's a real short game, but it's really, really good. I think I'm probably just going to go straight ahead and play Portal 2 right after that one, too.
That one's good, and the co-op in that one is so good, too.
Killer. Very good. So my video game podtimistic thing, kind of tacking onto all this, is video games that age very well.
Okay.
It takes some time. You don't know if this is going to be the case right away. Because you're like, oh, maybe this game will be good right now. Last week I talked about games that have been around forever, but not necessarily games that have aged well. I don't know that WoW has aged very well in certain spots, but Portal really has aged well. It's still incredibly fun.
Portal's a cougar.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's aging like a fine wine right now.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of anything else that's like still holds up really well. Any of those old like SNES era games I think still do really well. Obviously our bracket would suggest that Link to the Past is still very good.
For something about the SNES, I think it was just like the perfection of that kind of top-down, pixely look, where things look really clean and fresh, but everything also is still just very tight control-wise that lends well to that.
Yeah, the graphics don't look like shit now.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Some of the games on NES look pretty bad. Like they're not. You really have to do some imagining for it to work right. But like Link to the Past is still incredibly colorful and looks really good. Like if it came out on Switch today, I'd be like, oh, this is a great game.
Totally.
So yeah, a lot of the SNES games age pretty well. I would hope that some of the N64 ones do, but I think a lot of nostalgia is coloring my interpretation of those. Although Mario Party, still fun.
Mario Party. What a great game.
Do you have something that's fueling your sense of podtimism this week, David?
Yes.
What is it?
It is the ability of video games to connect you to others.
Wow. Okay. Are you talking specifically about me and you?
No.
Oh, no.
I'm thinking more about me and my other partner.
Yes.
Mallory Rose.
Your main partner.
My main partner that I live with. And,
not your boy partner.
Not my boy partner. Although, I mean, you're probably the original person to do this in my life. Building connections through games.
Through video games, yeah, that's very true. Don't need to talk. These two little introverts don't know what to say, so let's just say video games.
Exactly. But no, it's just really fun interacting with her through this game. And it's just one of those games where it's like, no matter how good you are at video games, there is like, it doesn't matter like how good your reflexes are, how good your video game knowledge is. Yeah. It's just because it is D&D, a lot of it is just like common sense stuff that you would do like to figure things out. Situational
awareness from like real life.
Yeah. Exactly, which Mallory is great at.
Yeah.
She's got that in spades. But also just, planning out attacks and how we're going to fight and sharing resources and who gets what and what missions we're going to do next. It's just been, it's been really fun.
True.
Just makes me feel closer to my partner through video games.
It's very true.
That's quite nice. It's quite nice.
Yeah, the Animal Crossing island has been good for Em and I. Playing through Man of Medan was fun. I'm interested to see how Moving Out goes, the game that just came out today. It's like Overcooked, so it is highly stressful, but
exactly.
I think just anything would be pretty fun at this point.
See if she wants to play some D&D with you.
The answer is no.
Get her on that Divinity. No?
The answer is no.
The answer is no. Fair enough. Mallory has a deep love of Lord of the Rings, so I figured I could rope her in that way.
Yeah. See, this is not the same situation on our end. Perfect. Would you like to move on to our main thing?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's do it. So it's back. Good Games is back.
Yeah, two weeks in a row.
2 weeks in a row. We're going strong. We're going for the three-peat. Maybe next week we'll do another one.
All right, yeah. We'll see, but don't hold us to it.
Don't hold us to it. Maybe we'll do some other
to you.
Nonsense where we talk about the game that makes us smell the worst.
Interesting hypothesis. Interesting thesis there, Chase.
It's got to be World of Warcraft, right?
I never played World of Warcraft. So, Rock Band's got to be up there.
Generating sweat. Generating
sweat. Wii Sports is probably up there.
Yeah. I didn't even think about... Okay, next week. No, we are doing Good Games this week, which is the segment where we talk about the games of yesteryear and gush all about the things that we love about them.
Mm-hmm.
And with all the news about Naughty Dog and The Last of Us 2 coming out finally in June, they announced it. It's happening. Apparently the whole game leaked, and I've been very scared of being on Twitter because I'm going to get that whole fucking thing spoiled, and I don't want it to happen. So we thought we'd kick it a little older school by another game made by Naughty Dog. Jak and Daxter.
This one is near and dear to me.
Yeah, you're a big fan of Jak and Daxter back in the day. You and I had some sort of pointless rivalry over which game was superior, Jak and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank, because they both felt very similar and came out usually on the same cycle.
Yeah. We were big against each other back then.
I don't know why, but...
Because we were high school gamer boys.
Gamer boys who needed to fight about something.
And we were both already Sony boys, and we just had to fight about which was their better mascot platformer.
It's true. I was
ridiculous.
on the side of Ratchet and Clank, and you were on the side of Jak and Daxter.
I was firmly on the side of Jak and Daxter, yes.
This is probably the best reviewed game that we brought to Good Games. Usually the segment that we do here is kind of okay-ish games that aren't particularly amazing, but Jak 1 was pretty well regarded at the time.
I think it had a 90 on Metacritic when I looked or something that.
It's a genuinely actually good game, not
good, yeah.
We can appreciate some good things about it, but I did want to hear you gush about it because you were the prophet of Jak and Daxter 1.
Sure. And I was the precursor. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Got him. For those of you who had played Jak and Daxter, that's a got him.
Got him.
I thought this was also an interesting game just from a game design perspective and I kind of realized this after looking into it a lot, that there's a lot of weird stuff about this game. It's positioned very strangely in the history of Naughty Dog and the history of game design as a whole. That it's this weird canary in the coal mine almost for what games were at a certain point and how they very rapidly changed.
True. No, totally. If you just look at the difference between Jak 1 and Jak 2.
Correct. Yeah, that's essentially what the...
Right?
Yeah.
But I guess Jak 1, you could see the beginnings of it because it was such a diverse game in the mechanics that were in it.
Yeah.
Which is definitely something that I really enjoyed with it. I just love that in a game where it's not just the same loop the whole time. Sure. When they can, maybe a quarter of the way in, just for an hour, give you some sort of new mechanic that you get to play around with. That feels good. It's not half-baked. They've really thought it through. And they just throw it in there as just kind of a way to shake things up, keep it from getting stale, right? I've always found that works really well. And, I feel like PS2 platformers just to a T did that really well.
Yeah.
Ratchet and Clank as well. Each new gun was a new way to spice things up.
Amazing.
And Sly Cooper. Sly 3, I think, is
Crush.
still
the game was so fucking good.
That is still probably the most diverse gameplay game I've ever played. There's so many different things that you do in that game.
Yeah.
There's a wire foo segment. There's a pirate section. There's the regular thieving sections. It's so good. But back to Jak and Daxter.
Sure.
Okay.
Just a couple of quick stats before we get totally into it. So Jak 1 came out December 3rd of 2001. PlayStation 2 had only been out for about a year and a half. The PlayStation 2, I think, came out in March of 2000.
Yeah.
And so it was pretty early in its life cycle. And like I said before, this game sort of came out at a weird transition point in video games. The last game that Naughty Dog had made was, I think technically it was Crash Team Racing, but the last platformer that they had made was Crash Bandicoot Warped. for the PlayStation, both of which sold really well. And so Naughty Dog was like kind of one of Sony's most valuable players at that point. Like
They've made so many great characters.
Yeah, no, they were really crushing it. And so like this was their first debut kind of on the new hardware. I had read that PlayStation was like, hey, like we want, something pretty good. And I think Naughty Dog was like, we want to come up with something new rather than just like the next iteration of Crash. And so they came out with this, and like as you were saying before, the gameplay is varied, but I think it more resembles the gameplay of Crash than it does the gameplay of even Jak 2.
Totally, right? He even has that spin move, which is a total homage to Crash Bandicoot, right? Where he spins around, his legs are flying, and Daxter's flying around him.
Exactly,
smashing crates, right? It is almost like if they made a 3D open world Crash Bandicoot,
game, right?
But with a new storyline, new characters.
Yeah, so it was this this version of game design that had pretty much been going on since like the original platformers, right? Like since Mario. Like the Mario went from the ones on SNES to the ones on 64, where it was kind of more of an open world collectathon. And they did that for a couple years. And then Crash came out and they did that for a couple years. And all these are just iterations on platforming, jumping and going fast and shit like that. Something that also came out in 2001 was Grand Theft Auto 3. That came out October 22nd, my birthday, of 2001. And so these games didn't come out very far from each other, but GTA started to define what would become like the majority of the games that came out after that.
Totally.
Kind of darker, kind of more intense, open worldy. And you can see this in Jak 2, where it's mostly GTA. Like the cover of Jak and Daxter 2 is he has a gun. Yeah. The first one, there wasn't even a mention of that. But yeah, he's holding like a shotgun.
And he's got a fucking side cut,
has,
undercut both
he has a goatee.
He goatee. He talks now and he's fucking pissed. It was this weird era of video games where the protagonist had to be fucking edgy, tough, mad guy. Like, remember what Prince of Persia 2?
Yeah.
The Blades Within or some shit like that.
Something like that, yeah. I mean, even the one that came out before that, just the regular Prince of Persia's Hands of Time, like the cover of it, he's all looking tough and like running on the wall. He's got his angry face on and shit with his sword drawn, like.
But he's still a little wholesome.
Yeah, compared to the second one, where
Number
it's like
2, he's like cutting people's heads off. There's that woman who's wearing like thong armor. And it's just like, Prince of Persia grew up, and so are you, kid.
It's very weird.
It's a very specific moment in gaming history for like just a couple years. Just like a couple years. Everyone did it. It was weird.
Yeah, so as a result, I find looking back at Jak 1 a pretty interesting experience because it's like just this little time capsule and a representation of game design that I think by that point was pretty much at its peak.
Yeah, I'd say so, yeah.
And I think for a handful of years, if you went back and played it, it wouldn't shine very well because it wasn't that like grittier, intense game. But now that we've kind of come full circle, I bet this game would be fairly fun since then.
Totally. Yeah, if you went back and played it now.
Right. So you sort of mentioned that one of the things you liked about it was that it was varied in its mechanics.
Yeah, there's all the different ecos you could do in different sections, right? One would make you really powerful, one you could shoot stuff, one made you really like quick and fast. Yeah. And then there was like the hovercraft sections where
I remember those pretty vividly.
Flying around. The bosses, there weren't that many, but the ones that there were pretty entertaining and different, right? You had to like, one was like on a big canyon and you had to like get up close to him and bonk him, and the ending boss was pretty good too. Just just a good way of kind of like acting as tests of your ability to play the game so far. Yeah. Right. And then something else that really stands out for me, that going back and looking at videos of the game, that I realized that I didn't quite appreciate as much, or realize that I appreciated as much back in the day, was the animation. Yeah, it's pretty high quality. The animation is fantastic. Like the graphics have definitely aged, but the quality of just like the movements of the characters and the facial expressions, really, really good. And the voice acting is still good too. It is odd, the animations. I was watching this too, like the facial animations when people are talking, like they're both really animated and like you can see people reacting to shit.
rather than just like the very programmery way of saying like, okay, if somebody's speaking an O, move your mouth like this, and like they just look like marionettes, where this looks like something that they've put a lot of effort into.
Yeah. It was like, I don't know, it almost felt like virtual claymation in a way.
Yeah, I can see that.
You were really getting more expression and emotion out of the characters. That rolls over into the gameplay too. It's not just the cutscenes, but like when you're running around too, you just have this bounciness and fluidity to your emotion that just makes it feel much more real and alive and energetic.
Yeah,
that you weren't getting in games like even Mario 64 that came out like 5 years before this one.
I think so. Yeah, this came out in 2001. I think Mario 64 came out in 96, something like that.
Right. So they started to go away from that blocky animation.
Yeah.
Right. Into more fluid styles where everyone kind of had a feel to them, which I think really it goes a long way when your whole entire aspect, the whole entire gameplay is jumping and moving and running.
It's true.
Right.
Yeah.
Makes things more engaging. So that was really good. And then the voice acting is really quality. Right.
Did somebody famous play Daxter? I forget.
I don't think anyone famous played Daxter, but the guy who was the dark eco mage was D. Snyder.
Whoa. The fuck?
Yeah.
That's kind of wild.
Yeah, the big bad guy is D. Snyder. So, quality voice acting, interesting story. Really just impressive how far 3D platformers came in 5 years from Mario 64.
Mario, yeah.
Right? Still had that collectathon aspect to it, but that world just felt so alive when I was young and playing through it, and just so rich and verdant.
Yeah,
and really just teeming with life.
I would love to play it again to see if it would hold up in that way. Maybe we can do some sort of like actual retrospective where we do go back and play it rather than just thinking about it. But
I'd be into that. I think they have it for PlayStation 4.
Yeah, I think they do. There was like some kind of re-release that they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the things that I appreciated it back in the day. I remember the story being pretty good, pretty interesting.
It was, yeah.
Like the effort that Naughty Dog puts into the worlds that they create, I think is pretty strong. The Jak and Daxter world felt fairly thought out and like alive in a way. Obviously they didn't have to do too much of it for Crash, but even in Crash, like all the stuff in there, like the details were important to this game or any of their games that they put out. That's obviously way more upfront with like The Last of Us and Uncharted and shit like that. But
sure,
it's I thought the story was pretty interesting. It felt like there was something actually going on with like all this crazy magic and shit like that. So yeah, I enjoyed that a lot. It felt pretty thought out.
It did, yeah, and everything seemed to have its reason and its rhyme, and then it even kind of made sense when they did the full fucking 180 for Jak 2.
Yeah, no, they did make that transition well enough. It was a weird one, but they did do it like it made sense. So
they did, they managed to make it not ridiculous, which is impressive.
Was that in the future? Is that what happened?
I think it's technically the past.
Oh yeah, I think you're right. Yeah,
I think it's technically the past. Yeah, that game's story gets fucking crazy.
It's a little nuts. I kind of like that about it. Jak 2 and
Jak 3 were wild. I would have a tough time accurately retelling that story, especially Jak 3. Jak 3 got fucking real buck wild.
In the wiki for Jak 2, it says it takes place 500 years after the events of the first game, but I feel like you're right that it was somehow before it. Like maybe there was some sort of cycle or something that was happening that they had to like interrupt. I don't know.
Something. All I remember is that Jak was from that timeline and he went to the other timeline.
Yeah.
So he's from the future or past because he's actually the king's son, the rightful ruler. But then there's aliens that he has to stop in the third one, and he turns into like a demon or an angel depending on what kind of eco he absorbs. And then there's like a Mad Max wasteland of fucking maniacs, and you drive around in a dune buggy, and it just gets crazy.
Yeah, oh my god, I kind of forgot about all this stuff. Like I knew that the second one took a turn to the gritty, but like just reliving all the craziness. Like the first game is very optimistic and bright and pretty.
Yeah. And then the second one really just takes a left turn pretty hard.
He has a gun. Jak has a gun.
He's a gun. He's been tortured, so he's pissed. He has a goatee.
Yeah.
He's long ass hair. He's been tortured for like years. It takes a long time for Daxter to break him out because there's Daxter, the game on the PSP,
right,
which tells the story of Daxter trying to find Jak and break him out, which is also a pretty good game.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's wild. It's wild. It feels like a lot of those game companies just got memos from their higher ups, be like, you gotta make it dark and gritty. So
we gotta make it intense, man. Gears of War is coming, and we gotta head them off at the pass.
Ooh, do you think that's what it was? Because was from Gears of War coming out, and everyone just like losing their minds over that?
I think it was GTA. I feel like GTA coming out then, and then so GTA Vice City came out in 2002. It was right after the first one.
Yeah,
and those games were just so popular. I think it was people were just riding the wave. Not to mention a lot of like the people who were growing up with video games, I think were getting older.
Mm-hmm.
And so like while you and I were still like kind of teenagers, I think the people who grew up with video games were like kind of in their 20s and maybe early 30s even.
Sure.
And so they were more open to buying games that were a little bit more intense, which makes sense.
It does, yeah.
So like 2001 was definitely still like nice fun times games, but it started getting into more intense stuff. Let me see. Final Fantasy X came out then. Super Smash Bros. Melee. Halo came out then. Conker's Bad Fur Day. Metal Gear Solid 2. Sonic Adventure 2. Devil May Cry. Red Faction. The original Animal Crossing.
Wow.
Eco. Jak and Daxter. And so like there's kind of a little bit of both, right? There's some intense games and there's some not intense games, but
yeah.
2002 a bunch came out, and then by 2003 it was a lot of intense games like the Prince of Persia game, Call of Duty, Tony Hawk Underground, Knights of the Old Republic, Max Payne 2, Need for Speed Underground, even fucking Beyond Good and Evil was like a really intense
everything game. Underground, Beyond Good and Evil was crazy intense. You were like a photojournalist, weren't you? Right?
Yeah, which is crazy.
That's a cool one.
I know, I like that game a lot. But so yeah, by like 2004 it was like full gritty. San Andreas, Half-Life 2, Need for Speed Underground 2, Halo 2, the second Prince of Persia, the fucking intense one, Doom 3, Chronicles of Riddick. Chronicles of Riddick, man. Even Jak 3 came out that year. So like there was just this kind of transition of the whole gaming industry over to really intense shit. And so Jak 1, I think, was kind of the end of that.
That was such a funny time. As like the target demographic for that, being like, is this what you think that we all want now? It's just like punk ass dudes.
I mean, at the time I thought I did. Like gaming up to that point, I think had been very like shiny and pretty and candy and like a lot of pretty stuff. And so I don't know that games had really delved into the intensity yet.
It was video games' teenage years.
I mean, genuinely, I think that's it. Like, games had been a mature, I feel like, medium for, probably 20 years at that point. Games had been made for fucking ever, but like, God, we might get hate for this, but I don't feel like they were really making games until like kind of the NES and SNES era.
How do you mean?
Games on like Atari are very much like programmery video games. Like, move the dot over here, navigate your character to the left side of the screen and fight the dragon, versus like, this game has a look that we're going for. There's an aesthetic we're trying to hit here, or a story we're trying to tell or something.
Sure. The art form started to develop, as opposed to just like the skeleton of it. Right.
So like, if you compare like film or something like that, like the very old silent films where they're just doing stuff to like kind of show like, look, we can make a movie. There's a train coming through.
I was about to say, it's just a train.
Yeah.
It's just a train.
And so it took a second for the medium to kind of catch up and be like, oh, we could do kind of whatever. But I feel like games were kind of getting their footing a little bit, and they were exploring other tones. And so like this transition from Jak 1 to Jak 2 is pretty indicative of it, of let's try a different tone. And thankfully, video games have kind of varied at this point where you can get all of the above. It's not just various shades of brown and dirt.
Yeah, the palette became brown for a while for most games.
It was very, very brown.
Just like, this is not good.
What year did Gears come out?
2005.
Gears of War came out in 2006.
Damn it.
That's when I feel like we're at peak brown.
When the game color saturation reached peak brown.
There were just so many gritty, intense video games right then.
There really were. There really were. Everything had to be gritty, intense, and realistic, and that was what was in vogue. It's what happens in a post 9/11 world.
I mean, fucking true, man. I don't have quite enough time to write the dissertation on that yet, but it's true.
The effect 9/11 played on the color palette of video games.
Went from blue to brown.
Look what they did to Jack.
He has a gun now.
Jack
has a gun.
Terrorists.
Daxter is going to stab someone in the hallway.
I mean, that is kind of what happens in Jak 2, is that there's just a bunch of unidentified bombings going on in the city. And you have to figure out what's happening.
Yeah, correct.
It is terrorism, and he's fighting alien terrorists. Whoa. Damn. Art is life.
Well, cool. Do you have anything else to say about Jak and Daxter, the first one?
It was a great game. I loved it. It was the equivalent of Mario 64 for me, because when Mario 64 first came out, I was just not good enough at video games to play it. So this was like the first really good platformer that I went through. So it's near and dear to me.
Yeah, it's true. It's a very good game. I'm reluctant to even talk about critical feedback because it's still very good. It's still very, very good.
Yeah.
I think I would have to play through the game again to even really get a good feel for what could be improved, because I don't remember anything offhand. Okay, well, in that case, let's push on forward.
Let's do it.
So with all the talk of Jak and Daxter and Crash Bandicoot and the PlayStation 5 just around the corner.
Oh, it really is. I need to get more excited for that.
It's coming. Well, I mean, they haven't really announced anything yet, so it's hard to get excited about it.
It'll be here in November.
Probably. Maybe. If COVID's not ravaging the PlayStation 5 factories.
It's true. It'll probably be here in November.
It'll most likely maybe be here in limited number in November. Sony and Naughty Dog have contacted us, and they need a new IP.
Okay.
Crash Bandicoot, old news.
Spyro, old news. Jak and Daxter, unfortunately, old news. Nathan Drake, don't give a shit.
Old news. Nathan Drake, more like Nathan Snake. I'm bored of this guy.
Nathan Late. I'm so 3008. Nathan Drake is so 2000 and Drake. That doesn't make any sense. Got him.
Sorry, Nathan Drake. You're canceled.
Yeah.
They need a new IP, and what better creators than the Podtimists?
The Podtimists are here to make.
We're making a sort of sequel, kind of making a sequel to
a spiritual sequel to Spyro, Crash, Jak and Daxter, Uncharted, and The Last of Us.
Yeah, easy.
It's gonna combine elements of all 5 of those.
Some of them. Yeah. All of them and some of them. And it's got to be relevant. It's got to be hot.
It's going to star Ellie the Dragon, who is a world-renowned treasure hunter who travels into the past to fight against a despot.
You got it in one. That's it.
Who also has an adopted father who betrays their whole entire race.
Yes, correct.
For selfish reasons.
And it's the post-apocalypse.
That's my hot take.
Okay. All right. So we got every one of these games starts with like a cool character.
They sure do. Okay.
So I think we need to come up with one of those.
All right. So I guess the first question is it going to be a human or is it going to be a creature?
Okay, let's see. They've been on humans for a while with Nathan Drake and Ellie.
Mm-hmm. Can I suggest Harambe?
You're 4 years too late.
Gen Z loves Harambe.
Do they still love Harambe? I haven't seen a lot of Harambe memes recently.
I have, actually. Because they're saying everything has going to shit since Harambe died.
That's true. Could we get Damn Daniel to be our mascot?
Damn Daniel. It's just like a fashion reviewer simulator. He's like a fashion vlogger, and all you do is just review people's shoes.
Daniel will do kicks about it, though. He will be doing some action kicks.
There you go. All right.
No, these are bad ideas. We're almost there. I feel like we're almost on the precipice of getting one.
But we want a creature, is what you're saying.
I think we want a creature. What's a popular creature right now?
I mean, I've been seeing a lot of bat memes.
Bat memes.
Because of COVID.
Okay.
People have talked about bats a lot. I don't know if it's popular.
It's in the general consciousness. I think the world is ready for its first bat video game mascot.
That's not Batman.
That's not Batman. There was a bat, wasn't there? There was Arrow the Acrobat.
Okay, maybe not that. Ooh, what about a corgi?
A corgo, you say?
People love corgis, don't they?
I think so.
Or a bearded dragon. They're kind of hot.
We're getting closer to Spyro now.
That's true. We need to go. Okay, no reptiles. No reptiles.
Okay, all right.
And no, whatever the fuck a bandicoot is.
Can we go simple?
Yes.
Just a dog?
A doggo.
A dog.
People love dogs.
People love dogs.
What kind of dog? Are we talking big dog, little dog, medium dog?
Medium dog. If we're going to get a lot of likes, I think we got to do something fucking simple. A little basic.
What kind of medium dog? Is it going to be Benny? The Australian Shepherd? Like
it's
Sky and Sarah and Benny?
It's going to be an Australian Shepherd with an attitude.
All right. What kind of attitude does it have?
Well, first of all, its name is Derek.
Oi, I'm Derek the Aussie. Could he be like an Australian firefighter fighting the fires?
Okay.
Fighting climate change? Gen Z hates climate change. Could he be Captain Planet for Gen Z?
Oh, I just got chills. Derek the climate change fighting dog.
He's just an eco-terrorist.
Oi, I'm here to reduce your carbon emissions, or else.
Oh, shit.
I'll plant a bomb at your fucking oil plant. Not going to be producing much oil now, will ya?
Didn't Steve Irwin have a dog that he would take with him?
Sui?
Sui?
S-U-I.
Some reason is that some sort of like Aboriginal word?
I guess. But this is definitely his dog. There's a bunch of videos of him with this dog. Terry Irwin has a pug.
There you go.
Okay, so here's what it's going to be. I think it does need to be an Australian Shepherd so it can have a sweet Australian accent.
You don't have many Australian game characters, it's true.
Very rare that you have one of those. But it is an Avengers-style game where he has to go find all the other climate change fighting eco-terrorist dogs.
They're all dogs?
They're all dogs. He has to put together like an Avengers-style team.
So are we just making like a grown-up Paw Patrol?
We are making a grown-up Paw Patrol along with Captain Planet.
Okay. How many people in this team, and what do they each bring to the table?
Let's see, 5 of them. That's easy.
Okay.
Terry Irwin's pug is going to bring the power of carbon caps.
Carbon caps?
Yeah,
like policy? The policy?
He brings the taxes.
The economic policy of carbon caps?
Yeah, he's bringing that power.
He just moves into a neighborhood and everyone's like, you know what? Carbon caps are a good idea.
I'm going to support candidates who do that.
I'm going to support that in the next election.
The British Corgi is going to support geothermal and wind energy.
Why British?
Because the Queen and her corgis.
But is Britain big against climate change? Do they give a shit? Does Boris Johnson give a shit about climate change?
They don't, but this dog does.
Okay.
That's why he's active. He's busy.
I'll take it.
The American Bulldog. It is Elon Musk who anamorphed into a bulldog and is really into electric cars still.
Whoa! So he wants electric cars.
Electric cars, yeah, that's his big thing.
Could I suggest an American Stafford Terrier, which is a pit bull?
Sure, that's totally cool. Instead of a bulldog.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm here for that. It is Elon Musk though. He anamorphed.
Okay, it is Elon Musk.
It is Elon Musk.
You'd probably do the voice acting.
He probably would. He'd be up in there.
He'd be in it. He'd be into it.
The Shiba Inu from Japan. Voiced by Hideo Kojima.
Oh, yes.
He's got to be in there somewhere. Every game that we make is somehow featuring Hideo.
All parts with the Shiba Inu are Strand type games. Making connections. What do they do?
He is the dog of clean air.
I can see it. I'm fine with that.
He has special powers to reduce the emissions in the air around him and turn it into memes.
Wait, he turns clean air into memes, or he turns bad air into memes?
Into memes and then farts out good air. Because Shiba Inus are like memes.
He can't turn bad air into clean air. But he
does that too.
But he can turn the bad air into memes, which he then eats, which he then turns into clean air.
Clean air, yeah, correct.
So it's a process. So he does bad air to memes to clean air.
Correct.
Pitbull Elon does electric cars.
The British Corgi.
Corgi does wind, renewable
geothermal and wind, yep.
Our main character, Derek, the Australian Shepherd.
Derek the dog, man. Come on.
Double D. All right, he's Double D. Double D is just the leader, right?
Yeah, he's the ties that bind.
And then Bindi Irwin's dog, Pug.
The Pug is the power of carbon caps.
Economic policy.
Yeah. He gets the job done when push comes to shove.
Okay.
Is that 5?
That's 5, yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Wait, that's 4 others, 5 counting yourself.
Double D, including Double D.
Or we could do something from like New Zealand, just because I think it would be funny to have a New Zealander in there.
So he could fight with Derek the dog.
Or we could just have Taika Waititi in it.
Oh man, fuck, I would need Taika Waititi in this.
Are there any New Zealand dog breeds?
The New Zealand dog breeds, the first thing that comes up is a Border Collie. I don't think that's from New Zealand. The Huntaway is something they say that comes from New Zealand. Ooh. There's something called a curry.
Curry?
Curry? I'm not sure how to say it. It's a Maori name for an extinct Polynesian dog. Okay, so this is the thing that Taika Waititi is going to be voicing.
Oh, no, that's a good one. Because it's extinct.
Yeah, right.
It's like, don't be like me. You must... Could he be a ghost dog?
So... It says here, according to Maori tradition, the demigod Maui transformed his brother-in-law, Irawaru, into the first dog. So I'm assuming that's this. So it's the brother-in-law of Maui. He got transformed into this thing, and he was trying... Okay, hold on. Is he the first person who was sounding the alarm about climate change, or did he try and get climate action done, but had to turn to like the dark side to do it?
Oh, damn. What would he have done as a dog?
Well, he's got great powers.
What kind of powers does he have?
The power to bark.
Uh-huh.
The power to vote.
The power to vote. Wait, what place has dogs able to vote? That's not a thing.
Ancient New Zealand.
Ancient New Zealand. Polynesian New Zealand. Dogs have the right to vote.
They do.
All right. Okay.
One dog, one vote.
One dog, one vote. Jesus.
This dog was very into trying to get climate change done, but started trying to like negotiate and eventually just kind of was brought over to the dark side of not really making a change.
He was eventually bought out by the lobbyists, by the ancient Polynesian lobbyists.
Right.
Which is not factual at all, because everything I've read about Polynesian culture is that they were very much about sustainability, because they lived on fucking islands.
They seem to be a pretty chill group of folks. But this one, he was tempted.
This particular dog.
He was introduced to capitalism.
He's actually the person who showed the first Americans where Hawaii was and introduced them to Polynesian society.
Yep, sold them for a barrel of gasoline.
Oh my, a whole barrel.
So what are the mechanics in this video game?
Well, he says Avengers style, right?
Sure.
So maybe it's each character gets their own game, and then you do a big culmination. Or you could do it's like almost kind of like a episodic way, where you buy like the whole game, and then like you get the first 4 hours released, which is one character, and the next 4 hours, which is another character. And then, I don't know, it just eventually becomes everyone gets together and you go and start barking at people.
Pass the Green New Deal. Arf, arf, arf.
AOC is definitely a character in this game.
She's playing herself in the game.
AOC and Bernie are in it for sure.
Perfect. I'm sure that Naughty Dog is not going to have any problems with this.
I mean, it's a dog. They are
it's
Naughty
just
Dog.
A dog, you guys. And
Naughty Dog. Come on. Bring you back to your roots.
There was a logo for Naughty Dog, like originally. This used to be their logo.
Oh my god.
It's the Naughty Dog. It has beer.
Jesus.
Oh man,
that's
look at
so
him.
bad. It looks like something from, I don't know, The Simpsons or Futurama or something.
I think this may need to be in there. This dog may need to be in there. The Naughty Dog.
As the dog who just doesn't give a flying F about climate change.
Don't be
the Naughty Dog.
No.
He goes into his house when he gets home and just turns on all the faucets, turns on his shower, doesn't even get in, just water running. Turns on every appliance, drives a Hummer.
Yep.
Burns gasoline for fun. He's a real bastard.
Sick, yeah.
It's a real bastard.
Okay. I feel like we kind of got a game there.
I mean, we have a concept, but we don't have an actual game.
Oh, we got a game, baby. That's all you need.
What do you do? What does X do? What does circle do? What does square
Depends
do?
on your character. If you're the pug and you press X, you propose a new carbon cap law. If you press square, you go and talk to some senators about how they're corrupt and they need to support your carbon cap law.
So the pug is a political simulator.
Correct. That is correct. It's going to play out a lot like Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney.
The Shiba Inu is looking to make connections with people so that they realize that we're all in this together and that this problem knows no geopolitical boundaries.
It is a Strand game. You are correct.
Elon Musk is just like a Kerbal Space Program
trying
type
to build
of
the
game
best.
where you just try and build the best electric car. The Kuri game that with Taika Waititi is just a tragic tale of the downfall of Darth Plagueis the Wise.
It's the second to last one where it reveals kind of what's been going on the whole time.
Yeah, it's revealed that he's been the one pulling the strings behind climate change this whole time. He's capitalist dog. He's business dog man.
And let's see, was that it?
And then the pug. Oh no, we already did the pug. The corgi. That's right.
The corgi is a city builder where you're building the infrastructure to support geothermal and wind energy.
Okay. And then all of them together when you're the main character. Derek,
it's a beat 'em up.
It's a beat 'em up.
It's a beat 'em up. You're beating people up and barking at them.
So kind of like Okami, but without the paint mechanics.
Yep, you're just beating the shit out of people.
So it's a revolution. It's a violent revolution.
It is a violent revolution. Hey man, Final Fantasy VII came out where that's just eco-terrorism in there. It's fine.
So the pug ultimately fails in his political maneuverings.
The pug gets far enough, but realizes ultimately that the politics of now need to be changed by force.
So it's like Mass Effect 2, where you build up a big enough army, and then you can attack.
Correct, yes. You're only attacking the people who are proposing violence in response to you. You want to do this through the peaceful means.
So who are the enemy? Like
no, it's big business.
Big business?
It's Procter and Gamble.
Procter and Gamble, yeah. Gamby,
Ford, any oil company.
Big oil companies, yeah. Exxon.
Yeah.
Oh, probably cruise ships, airlines.
Yep.
They're big polluters.
Mm-hmm.
Gen Z's gonna love this game.
Gen Z's gonna be so about this fucking
We're
game.
hip with the kids. Also, the theme song is gonna be by Billie Eilish.
And you will be able to play the game through TikTok.
Yeah, you can do dance moves on TikTok, and it'll do certain things in the game. And depending on how many likes your dance gets, it'll determine how far you advance in the game.
Millennials, am I right? It's their TikTok.
This one ain't for us. This is the first one that ain't for us. It's weird.
It's a great game. We've got a great game. I will tell Sony about this very soon.
Okay, cool. Let me know how it goes.
Okay.
I'll be here for emotional support after the meeting.
After they deny us. We still have a Twitter.
We
You
sure
can
do.
harass us at Podtimism. You can go do that.
Yeah.
We still have reviews that you can leave. Still plenty of open spots.
Sure are.
Got a seat right here reserved for you. Yeah, plenty of review spots. You can go do that. It'll help get the word out about Podtimism. If you do, I will read your name with my mouth parts. This is something I've been saying for a few weeks now.
Can you give us an example? Just say a random name.
Mason Douglas.
2 first names.
That's how Mason rolls. If your name was Mason Douglas, your review might sound like this. Totally good podcast. Good boys. Host it. Love the sound of their mouth parts. 5 out of 5. As compared to Mason Douglas, who left us a 1 out of 5. Bad podcast. I hate optimism.
Not enough Derek.
Not enough Derek. I demand more Derek.
We need more Dereks.
Yeah, I think that's it. So with that, David, do you have any video game Podtimism? No. Do you have any video game wisdom for me?
Name your kid Derek if you want them to do great things.
Fair. That's a very fair request, I feel like.
That's what I've learned from video games.
Dereks are the dogs who do good things and can vote.
Dereks are the dogs of people.
Ooh, wow. That was deep.
You feel me? You feel me, dog people out there?
Wait, no, that seems like a bad thing, what you just said. On second viewing, I think Dereks are the dogs of people might not be such a good thing to say.
It depends on how you view dogs.
I think that's true. Dogs meaning like a lower life form? No. Dogs meaning like a best friend?
Dogs meaning like God spelled backwards.
Jesus Christ, David. Dropping the heat.
That was my real video game wisdom of the week.
Yeah, you snuck that one in under the wire. You had a Trojan horse of Derek are the best kind of people, and then you're like, but actually, dog is God.
Dog is God.
Well, damn, that's pretty good stuff.
There you go. You got anything? Any video game wisdom, sir?
Nah, man, do your best to fight climate change. That's the only fucking thing I can think of.
That's still good advice.
Yeah,
still a wise thing to say.
Don't be a naughty dog. Be Derek the dog.
Yeah, be Derek the dog. Double D.
Then with that, I think that's all we got. You'll see me next week. Same place, same time, same naughty dog.
Sounds good.
Okay, bye.
Bye.